Hey there, it's George Anderson here, and I am joined today by one of our Momentum 2017 alumni and a very interesting chap, Bryan Nestor. Hey Bryan, how you doing?
Not too bad. How are you, George?
Yeah, good, thanks. I'm glad we managed to make this happen because we had a few Wi-Fi connectivity kind of coming into this. But I just want to give a brief bit of an introduction to you and what I want to get out of the next 15 minutes or so.
Cool, cool.
You're studying a master's degree in positive psychology. That's correct?
Correct. Yeah, positive coaching psychology. Yeah.
Right. And the reason I wanted to speak to you today and kind of do this mini interview is because you attended Momentum back in January, and kind of what's changed in your life this year has been pretty phenomenal. And I want to kind of dig into that a little bit. But you didn't come to Momentum, and that wasn't like the one thing that changed everything for you. You already had a bit of momentum going into it, and that's, as you said, kind of it seemed to have accelerated things. So I want to talk a little bit about what things were like for you before, maybe a year or so ago, because I know a lot happened from about a year ago for you, and sort of what you took away from Momentum and what's happened for you since. So let's kind of kick off with where you were about a year or so ago, and what was what your life was like, what you saw as your sort of your general trajectory, and what were happy with, what you perhaps weren't happy with on that respect as well.
Cool. Yeah. I suppose. Yeah, we're almost a year now to the day. So I decided to take a break from alcohol around, it was December 11th of last year. I remember I was out on a night out, and in the following morning, it was a Sunday morning in my house in Galway. A few of my friends were around, and I remember just feeling like absolute crap, and I ended up breaking down in front of two of my mates. So that was a bit of a, usually I'd been very good at kind of hiding emotions, you might say, and to kind of not be able to do that at that moment it was a very profound experience. And I remember being very confused. Didn't know what was wrong with me. My two friends were asking me like, what's up, man, talk to us. And I honestly didn't know what to say. I was just like, I don't know what's wrong with me. And I suppose, so we went into town, get a bit of food, and I decided to walk home. And on that walk home, I was just trying to figure it all out. I was like, why did that happen? It was actually maybe the third or fourth time that I'd had what felt like maybe kind of a small anxiety attack. And looking back now, I know that they were anxiety attacks, but at the time I just didn't know what was wrong. So very confusing time. But at the time, I suppose I thought my lifestyle and my consumption of alcohol was the reason for why I was feeling. So yeah, I suppose on that walk home, I kind of asked myself a lot of questions, like kind of, what have I done with my year? If I was to stay going the way I was going, what direction do I think I was going to go in? And I think I would have been going down a very, very dark and confusing route. So I mentioned to you before that I've had a lot of family members go down the route of drugs and alcohol, and I've seen how their lives have kind of turned out. So I kind of asked myself, okay, these guys, what were they doing when they were my age, when they were 23 or 22 or 24? And I kind of said to myself, they're probably doing the exact same thing I'm doing. So looking at their lives was a big, I suppose, slap across the face. And that was one of the things that prompted me to decide, okay, I'm going to take a break from alcohol. It was coming up to Christmas. Christmas in Ireland is a big bender. So I was like, I really don't think I could face into more drink. So I decided, okay, if I can get through a Christmas period in Ireland without drinking, I'll be doing fairly good, and I'll be starting January 2018 off to a good start. And when I got through Christmas, then I just kind of decided, okay, well, I've done over a month now, and maybe I could like do another month, or I could go to summer, or I could even do a year. The idea of a year was playing on my mind, and I think after I'd gotten through that Christmas, I just knew that, okay, I want to go at least a year without drinking and see what can happen in my life when I do that. And almost a year. It would be a year next Monday now. So, so that's pretty cool. Yeah.
So that's pretty huge. I mean, this goes beyond just, I think I need to make some changes to my life. You made a decision in the moment. That doesn't sound like just an ordinary hangover. And you referenced what was essentially an anxiety attack there.
Yeah.
And anybody who's ever experienced anything like that will be kind of nodding their heads, I'm sure, and sort of really relate to that. And I think combined with all the side effects of a morning after a night on the town, there was obviously, that was the sort of the critical mix for you to come up with this decision that you were going to do this initially, just in the short term, just for get through Christmas, which, as you said, is a huge time of year for alcohol, not just in Ireland, but kind of everywhere. Certainly in the UK it is as well, and for a lot of people that's a huge thing to contemplate doing. But it sounds like it was actually quite an easy decision for you to make. Is this when you compared where some of your family members were, where they probably were when they were 22, 23 years old, and kind of how their lives had turned out? That was obviously a big factor in your decision as well, wasn't it?
Huge, yeah. It was I almost felt grateful that I had, I suppose, that I had that experience in my own family, and I was able to look at these guys and go, okay, they're family, but I don't want my life to turn out how theirs have turned out,
Okay. So,
yeah.
Right, what were you doing at the time? So you were working, weren't you? I mean, it was a fairly weird thing. Work 9 to 5, go out and get hammered at the weekend.
That's exactly it. Yeah. Yeah, I think all through college in Ireland is alcohol is kind of the main social interaction to get together. So throughout college, drinking was a huge part of my life, and it's the same with everyone else. Like you're in college, you want to have fun, but I think once college ended, then it was like a reality really kind of slapped me across the face, I suppose you could say. And I started working. Was in college in Galway. Just started a job about in November of last year, and the first couple of weekends I remember were just all the wages were going towards going out and drinking and partying, and I thought, okay, I'm doing this 9 to 5 now. I do not want every weekend to be the highlight of my week, and I don't want to be on a Sunday morning dying of a hangover, not looking forward to getting up for this job that I don't like, and all these things were kind of playing on my mind.
Yeah. So you were sort of looking at almost, this is a vision of the future for me. If I don't make some changes now, it's going to look pretty bleak. And that wasn't what you'd imagined your life was going to turn into. So when you came to Momentum, so this all happened like December, and we had Momentum in sort of mid-January.
Yeah.
So you decided pretty quick then that you were going to come along and attend the event. Did you have any preconceptions before you came? Any things you really wanted to get out of it, or was it just let's see what happens with this? Yeah,
no, I think the first ever self-help book I kind of picked up was Pat's book, Pat Tivoli's book, and I was reading that over the Christmas, and that kind of really got me through the Christmas, because a lot of the content that I was reading was helping me, motivating me to really give this no drinking for a year a proper go. And then I was following Pat on social media, and I saw that they were having this event. So I was kind of, so I suppose with all the books I was reading and kind of this event was coming out, then I realized, okay, I want to be involved in this in some way. So and I knew that the people that would be at it would be kind of similar to myself, in that they want to kind of find their potential in some way. So
you mentioned that in an email that we had a few months ago when we spoke. You said that as well as getting a tremendous amount from the day itself, the content, the presentations from me, Jerry, and Pat, it was the audience as well, being in that environment that really kind of lifted things to another level. Because you've seen Pat's stuff on social media, read his book, you'd seen some of my stuff, and Jerry as well. But very different kind of being in that environment with 400 odd, 350 odd other people on the same wavelength.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, like I was at that event, and I also went to Jerry Duffy's speaker event as well that was on in Dublin during the year. And as good as the events were, I honest to God, I think my biggest take homes were the people that I met. at the events, you know, when like the people that the guys that I was sitting beside, and you know, you just get great conversations going. And that's another thing as well, for like in the position I am now at studying at university. I knew like the course I'm doing, there'd be a lot of like-minded people. So I guess you could say going through that kind of anxiety, and you know, I started, I suppose I kind of dropped a lot of friends, and I started avoiding socializing and going out. So it was a very, you could almost say, a very lonely spell. And I kind of felt, okay, I'm looking for my tribe in some way. So going to these kind of events and being around these kind of people, and coming to college and being around like-minded people, has been, it's enhanced my mental health profoundly. So.
Okay, look, Bryan, you painted a good picture of what things were like a year or so ago. What's it like now? You've been studying this course in psychology and coaching for a number of months now. You know, kind of where you mentioned about mental health there, but what about kind of your general mindset and just how you're feeling, what your prospects are now, and kind of your new vision of the future?
Yeah, I suppose. Well, the big thing was, for like during the summer, I had an anxiety attack in work, and that was a very, very, I suppose you could say, profound experience as well. And that's when, you know, I decided, right, I need to speak to someone, because there was so much going on in my mind. And looking back over the last couple of months, I wasn't meeting friends, I wasn't socializing, I wasn't, so I wanted to step away from drink, but I also I just didn't really, I wasn't really doing anything. And so I suppose the contrast from where I was then to now is completely black and white. And I think coming to college, and you know, I visualized what the kind of experiences I want to have and the people that I wanted to meet, and I've got that in buckets now coming to college. And some of the people that I've met here and some of the people I've been able to connect with has been absolutely amazing. And I suppose what got me into the coaching was all these books I was reading. The content was helping me so much, and a lot of it was positive psychology, and you know, like practicing gratitude and meditation and random acts of kindness. All this stuff was working, and I kind of realized then, oh well, this is positive psychology. There's an actual science, evidence based why this is working. So this was really interesting to me, and I remember thinking, like, I want to be able to tell people about this. Like, this is working for me, and I want to be able to share this with others. So I was kind of looking for a way to express that. And I think coming across this course, it was a no-brainer. Like within 20 minutes, I knew, like, I'm going to be doing that course. And I was thinking about what I want to get out of it and what kind of career route I want to go down. So so I'm here now. I've literally just finished my first semester, and still have all next semester and a thesis to do. I won't be finished again till next September, but after that, then I would like to get into life coaching in some degree. So
yeah, no, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Huge change in your trajectory. Now, you mentioned something also interesting there that I want to touch on, which was that when you decided that you were going to stop drinking, you said you sort of withdrew a little bit. You started to gradually spend less time with the people with whom that was your main connection, right? That you would go out and you would get drunk with these people, or you would them, and it was fun, and it was that they were an influence on you, and vice versa. So it was just as it was. But as you started to kind of move away from that, it sounded like it. Well, I think you used the word. It was quite isolating. That you were sort of by yourself, and it brings to the forefront here how important it is to have that connection, to be with people. And I think alcohol is a really easy way to get that connection. You can go, and it's the thing that binds you together. It's not necessarily a healthy thing, but it's something you can guarantee. You can go out, you can have shared experiences, you can get up to mischief, and you can do silly things, and you're all in the same boat, and instant connection. What you've had to do is you've had to go and you've had to work harder to make that, to get that same connection, a basic human need. We need to feel a part of something. And you've gone away and you've been through this transition phase, and you've realized that there's something missing. And this kind of brings me to the point that it was something that Pat touched upon in his presentation at Momentum. We'll talk again about in January in 2018, about how success isn't a straight line, right? You want to be here, you're down here, you want to be up here. It doesn't go in one straight line. You have these dips, you have these troughs. and you have to ride over those challenges, which sounds like is exactly what you've done. Right, it hasn't been plain sailing. You've had this sort of epiphany a year ago. You've got some momentum, and you've been on a fantastic trajectory, but it hasn't always been easy. I'm just to finish off, Bryan, I'm kind of interested to know what it has been that's been driving you. What's the most important thing? You've touched upon a few things. What's the biggest thing that's been driving you to stick with this and to not go back to how things were?
I suppose, like, I see that morning that I decided to quit drinking, like, I honestly feel I found my why that morning in that. I'll never ever forget how low and how confused and how just out of control I felt. And there has been times where I think, okay, I'm enjoying my life now without alcohol, but do I want it to be a part of my life again? And I might drink again someday. It's not something that I'm like saying, okay, this is forever. But yeah, I think just reminding myself of that morning and other times too, like, that was a profound experience, but also like having that anxiety attack in my workplace during the summer and then having to go get therapy. And so I've been getting CBT now for about 6 months, and that's helped hugely. Like, my mindset now is completely different to what it was just even 3 months ago even. But yeah, I think that what keeps driving me is just I want to improve, I want to grow.
On that note, I think that's a huge thing. I know you mentioned it almost in passing, but for a young Irish male to put their hand up and say, I need help, before you get to the point of absolute wit's end, it sounds like you were getting by, but it was a struggle. There were times where it was a struggle. You had this other anxiety attack over the summer. To put your hand up and say you need help, and to be open like this is completely different to kind of the cultural norm, isn't it? Certainly in the UK, it's very different. It's not the done thing for a guy to say, I need some help and support with this.
Yeah, I know, and like it's a pity too, because in Ireland, let's say young guys my age from 20 to 24, that demographic rules the suicide rates in the country. Like, it's young males who are kind of the most vulnerable now to mental health issues. If we were to look at the suicide rates. That's something that's been very, very alarming to me over the last couple of months. And anytime I'm just speaking with friends or out in public, I make it almost, it's very important to me to be able to speak about my mental health and what I've been through. And I realized that in doing that, it also leaves doors open for other people. So
yeah,
someone might hear me talking someday and think, Jesus, if that guy can openly discuss his vulnerabilities and his, the stuff that he's went through, maybe I can do that as well. And that's the experience other people have had of me. Like, I've had friends who have put their hand up also and got help, and being able to have those conversations with them it helps me so much. And I just kind of want to have that effect on others as well now. So
it's truly inspiring in the truest sense of the word. So, look, Bryan, I'm really looking forward as well to seeing you in January at Momentum.
Can't wait.
Coming back for more.
Really looking forward to it. Yeah.
So, look, thanks again for joining me this morning. Best of luck with the end of the year. Have a great Christmas, and I'll see you in January.
Great talking to you. Thank you.
Bye for now.